Sefiras HaOmer originally were days of joy. The Ramban says that the days between Pesach and Atzeres are like the days between Sukkot and Shmini Atzeres. Between Sukkot and Shmini Atzeres, which is also called Atzeres Yelochem, those are days of Chol HaMoed, days of Simcha. The same originally should be the days of Omer. But these days were transformed from joy to mourning by the tragedy of 24,000 Talmidei Rebbe Akiva that perished Bein Pesach L'Atzeres Mepnei Shaloi Nagu Kavod Zeh B'Zeh. And everyone asks, such a harsh punishment, Shaloi Nagu Kavod Zeh B'Zeh? Is that a Isser Koros or Misa B'Dei Shemayim? And I think maybe it is because they were Talmidim of Rebbe Akiva. So I had the schus of being a Talmid of the Kloisenberger Rebbe, Zecher Tzadik V'Kodesh Levrocha. And he was a giant in many, many ways. And I heard from him many times, one of his earliest recollections as a child. He said, I was sitting in my father's lap. The father of the Kloisenberger Rebbe was the Rudniker Rav. He was the third generation, an Einikel of the Divrei Chaim. And my father was crying. And I asked him, Tata, was weinst du? Abba, lama ta bocher? Abba amar li, Zalman Leib. That's how he was called as a child. I envy you. Ich bin dich mekana. And I asked my father, you're a mekana me? You're a big Rebbe with a lot of Hasidim. I'm a little boy. I should be mekana you. And my father said, I envy you because you didn't see the Divrei Chaim. I was perplexed. And I asked my father again, that is another reason I should be mekana you. You had the schus of seeing the Tzanzeh Zayda, and I didn't. So my father said, you didn't see the Tzanzeh Rav. So la'achameh ve'esim, what would they demand from you? But I will be asked, you had the schus of knowing the Tzanzeh Rav, and this is how you look. What did you learn from your great Rebbe? So being the Talmud of a great Rebbe is not only a privilege, it is a huge responsibility. So I think these Talmidim of Rebbe Akiva, Shaloi Nagu Kovet Zeh Min HaShamayim, they were asked, are you Talmidim of this great Rebbe? Were you there when he said, V'yahavtu l'yacho kamoicho zeklar godel b'toyri? You never heard that? And where were you when Rebbe Akiva said in Perek Gimel of Masechet Avos, Chovav Odom shenivro b'tzelem, Chibi yeseder noidas lo shenivro b'tzelem Elokim? And did you ever hear your great Rebbe saying, Es Hashem lakechotiro, Es Hashem lakechotiro lerabois talmidei chachomim? The Talmidei Chachomim are like the Shechina, as Hashem elokechoti l'rabbis l'chomim. And you of all people didn't know to be mechabed zeh as zeh. So maybe this harsh punishment was because you are Talmidim of Rebbe Akiva. What did you learn from your great Rebbe? So V'yahavtu l'yacho kamoicho was not about what you feel, it is also about what you do. Hasidim tell a story. Reb Moshe Leib Sasav, Reb Moshe Leib of Sasav. Who knows anything about Reb Moshe Leib Sasav? Who were his Rebbeim? He was a Talmud of, who knows? So Reb Moshe Leib Sasav was one of the great Hasidic leaders, and he was also a big Goen. And today we have a Sefer Chedushei Mesechtes and Ksubis, another Mesechtes of Reb Moshe Leib Sasav. He was a Talmud of Reb Shmelke Meniklisburg and of Reb Melech Merezhensk. At least Reb Melech Merezhensk is known to all, at least. So Reb Moshe Leib Sasav has said, the essence of V'yahavtu l'yacho kamoicho I learned from two Gentiles, from two Goyim. So before we go on to tell the story, if anybody wonders, why would such a great tzaddik need to learn anything from a non-Jew? Well, You probably all are familiar with a non-Jew whose name is Dome Ben Asina. Do you know Dome Ben Asina? He lives in Kedushin Daf Lamed Aleph. And Chazal say, Ad Heichen Kibbut Ava'em. We learn from a non-Jew, from Dome Ben Asina. So the Baal Shem Tov taught his Talmidim, everything is Ashgacha Protis, and whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you experience, these all come to teach you something. So the Moshe Leib Sasava said, I was walking in the street and I heard two people talking one to another. I didn't try to listen, but I overheard their conversation. Mr. A asks Mr. B, do you love me? And Mr. B says, angrily, we're the best friends for 20 years. Why you ask such a question? Of course I love you. So Mr. A asks Mr. B, what hurts me? Mr. B says, how would I know? Did you tell me? Mr. A asks, do you really want to know? Did you ask? Do you really want to know what hurts me? How could you say you love me if you don't even know what hurts me? If you love a person, you don't need him to tell you what hurts him. You look at his face, and you're supposed to see that he's troubled, that something hurts him. And you're supposed to ask, what could I do for you? So the Moshe Leib Sasava said, then I understood what v'yahavta l'reacho kamocho means. If you don't know what hurts me, don't dare to say that you love me. So v'yahavta l'reacho kamocho is about being helpful to others, about caring for others, and not only a declaration, I love everyone. You need to prove that you love other people. And the only way to prove that is being helpful. Doing chesed, like the Rambam writes. So Lag BaOmer is a simcha. And there are many reasons for the simcha of Lag BaOmer. But the Shulchan Aruch writes, Tov Tzaddik Gimel, the Mechaber writes, Lag BaOmer is a day in which we have various minhagim of simcha. Mepnei she'omrim she'posku melamos. The plague was over. And Lag BaOmer, this terrible plague in which thousands of Talmidei Chachomim died daily, it was finally over on Lag BaOmer. Why? Not always to understand why, but I have a thought. Many times we discussed, many Gedolim feel that the Memtes days of Sefira, the 49 days of Sefira, coincide, have a shayches, have a kesher with Memches Kinyonei Torah. Torah niknes by Memches Devorim. And whenever I share this thought, I say, why didn't Chazal say a Torah niknes by Memtes Devorim? My drasha would be perfect, would be amazing. Memches Kinyonei Torah, Memtes Kinyonei Torah, keneged Memtes Yemei HaSefira. As if dafka lahachas. But divrei Chazal Ruach HaKodesh. And if the Braisa says, Torah niknes b'memches vora, memches is memches, 48 is 48, it's not 47, it's not 49. Alehem ein lehoisef u'mehem ein legroya. This is Ruach HaKodesh. But still, Rabbi Soa Salanta says, memches days are keneged memches Kinyonei Torah. The extra day is for Chazorah. I don't think that's reasonable. We're dealing with a mitzvah d'oraisa, and we're dealing with a braisa. Chazorah is a yeshivish concept. It doesn't make sense. I think it would be more reasonable to say that a cheretz kodmo l'Torah. So day one, before you embark on this journey, day one is derech eretz. Realize that before anything else, when you embark on this journey of Kinyan Torah, before taking the first step, day number one is derech eretz, is midas toivus. Rabbeinu Yonah writes, an avos, la'olam lo tishkan ha'Torah, Ela beguf shu metukan b'midas toivus. Midas toivus and derech eretz come before anything else. So my feeling is day number 1 is derech eretz, and we start counting day number 2. But nevertheless, Rabbi Sol Salant to the Chedush Harim, and I think the first one to tie Mem Tes Yemei Svira to Mem Ches Kenyon HaTorah is the Maral MePrague. So my feeling is, maybe Rabbi Kiva knew what Rabbi Sol Salanter and the Chedush Harim and the Maral knew, and he also taught his Talmidim. Every day you work on one of Kinyonei HaTorah. So if you take out a Siddur or a Mishnayos and count, Mem Ches Voram Shatone Niknes, Bohem, 32, Oyei Vesabriyos. So when the Talmidim of Rabbi Kiva on day 32 worked on Ahavas Sabriyos, day 33 the plague was over. When they finally learned their Rebbe's Torah, when they finally appreciated what Rabbi Kiva taught them, when they finally understood that Hashem Elokecho Tiro LeRabbeis Talmidei Chachamim, so number 32 is Ahavas Sabriyos, Oyevas Sabriyos, and that is why day number 33, Lag BaOmer, the plague was over. So Ahavas Sabriyos manifests itself in many different ways. One of them is Nichum Avelim, Lo Aleinu. The other one is Bikur Cholim, Lo Aleinu. Well, Bikur Cholim is part of life, and Bikur Cholim does not necessarily need to mean a Cholesh Yesh B'Kone who was terminally ill, but just any person that is in distress and he is ill. Many times I tell Minalim of Chadorim and Beis Yankovs, they always get lists of cholim, and every few days another person is taken out of the list because he died. Why do we only daven for terminally ill patients? I think it's important that the kids should hear that this person was taken off the list because Baruch Hashem is doing well, and our tefillos were heard, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent that a Rafiyah Shalema. So you don't need to wait till one dies to be Mekayim v'haftirach ha'koicho. You don't even need to wait till one is ill to be Mekayim v'haftirach ha'koicho. There are many other ways which are Gemilas Chesod and Begufay. And even Bochum in the yeshiva have so many different opportunities just to be nice to one another. You see a Bocha that's having a hard time, talk to him, learn with him, encourage him. There is so much chesed that each and every one of us can do wherever he is, and whenever, and wherever, whether in yeshiva or at home, whether with family or with chaverim. V'yohavto l'reacho kamoicho, ze klal godel b'Torah. Ani Hashem. And the Gemara says in Shabbos, kol ha'malachim el habriyos malachim olav min hashomayim. Kodesh Baruch Hu acts toward us midah keneged midah, as we act toward others. And when we act with compassion and with love to others, that is where Kodesh Baruch Hu relates to us. And that is how we are zoicha to Rachamei Shomayim. So in the schus of the Tana, Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, I don't think I'll be here next week, so I spoke a bit about Lag BaOmer. So we should all be zoicha to Ahavas Reim and HaKadosh Baruch Hu shall have Rachamei Menas, and we should be mevasa b'soiris toivis, and the schus of the Heilige Tana, Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, we should be zoicha to Yeshua's Elamim and to see Pnei Moshiach Tzedkeinu b'mheru v'yomeinu Amen.